Hi folks, how you all doing? Welcome to another World of Warcraft video. And the Secrets Discord server, which is a fantastic group, I recommend you join it, has discovered a brand new secret. This is the Baa'l Battle Pet, and it's a pretty awesome one, this one. You're going to want to get this, no doubt. And it's going to require a little bit of work on your part, and you can see it in the background there. So we're going to go through the entire chain here on how to actually attain this for yourself. There are a few prerequisites though, which you're going to need to know about before we get started. First of all, you will require the Uuna pet. This was a secret pet that was discovered in Legion. But it's actually, although it's a required pet, you don't actually need it yourself. If you have a friend that has this pet, or if you happen to be in the area when somebody else summons it at the end, then the same effect is going to happen. So you don't actually need it yourself, but the pet itself is required. I will also leave a link in both the video description and the first pinned comment of this video showing you a tutorial guide how you can actually get this pet yourself if you would like to do so. Okay, other things you're going to need are a few different potions. For example, speed potions, like water speed potions, swimming speed. Very, very important. Make sure you get a lot of these because you are going to need them. And also the Goblin Glider, make sure you stock up on some of those. And also Invisibility Potions, the lesser ones are the cheapest. And on top of all that, you're going to need a water walking mount. Okay, I cannot stress the importance of this. If you don't have a water mount, then, you know, just wait until you get one because you won't be able to do the things that you need to do. And that's everything we need, so we're ready to get started now. I hope you enjoy the tutorial. If you do, please support me by leaving a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll have more coming for you as the secrets team over at Discord go ahead and discover them. Let's go. In order to reach the first clue, we need to make our way over to Nazmir, and you want to make your way over to the following coordinates, which is 4654, and that's going to be the start of the bridge we need to cross to get to the temple that we need to actually be on. So I recommend getting quite high up in the centre of the zone, since if you end up too low down, you're not going to be able to access this specific spot. So come over to where I am here, in the heart of Coromir, I think it's called, or something like that. And you can see the bridge just over there in the distance. I've also used the simple chords add-on, which you can see in the centre of the screen there, just so you can stay on top of the coordinates that I'm using. And from the bridge here, we're going to cross over to the roof of the temple itself. And this is actually going to be where the first note is located, though it's a little bit tricky. And we are going to be using the first of several Goblin Gliders in order to reach this one. You can actually head straight opposite where you exit the bridge to the edge of the temple here, and you can see the note just over off on the wall. So we're going to just pop around to the other side, and I do not think it's possible to jump across. I daren't try myself lest it all goes horribly wrong. So this is where you're going to want to just jump, use the Goblin Glider, and try and get safely across to the note in question. One warning is that the wall on the other side, because it's quite sloped in certain parts, you can, if you don't land carefully, just slide right down and possibly die. So just try and make sure you're as accurate as you can be when you land. I was quite lucky there not to fall off myself. But there we have it. The first note, the first clue is completed, and we can make our way over to the next, which is going to be on the Broken Shore, so back in Legion content. So you'll want to head just southwest of Deliverance Point, so not too far away. The table where Drakthul is located is where you're going to actually find the next clue, which is a light coloured pebble. You can see it just there. The problem is that a lot of the time Drakthul is going to be standing in the way, which means when you want to click on it or try and click on it, you're actually just going to select his hitbox, which is a real nuisance. So one way to get around this is to use a lesser invisibility potion, and this will allow you to click the pebble there. Unfortunately, from what a few people around the area were saying, the mage invisibility spell doesn't work, but a lesser invisibility potion, which is very cheap on the auction house when I purchased one, I think that was about 13 silver each, did the trick just fine. And that's all there is to it. So the third clue is going to be located in Boralus, so we're going to be heading over there next. There's a location in Boralus called Hook Point, which you can find at coordinates 4940. And I'll show you where that is on the map just there. So you want to make your way over to this particular location, and from this platform we're going to just drop down here and we'll find some netting underneath. So this is actually a secret entrance to a cave. We can head through this netting and down into the cave itself, and it's a little bit tricky to see, but around the centre part of this cave, just on the floor, we'll be able to find our next clue, which is another pebble. So all we need to do is click this, and there's not going to be any information given to us, and the only way we'll know that we've clicked this is that you can't click it again. Okay, so if you just mouse over it, just make sure that it's unclickable, you'll know that the game has registered the fact that you've completed this clue, and we can move on to the next, which is taking us over to Zuldazar. In Zuldazar, you'll want to make your way over to the coordinates 4935, which will bring you to this archway. And then you're going to want to follow this path in order to reach the entrance to the instance of Atal-Dazar. Now the thing is, we're not actually going to be going into the instance, but this is a good starting point for us to actually get our bearings in order to go ahead and enter the non-instance version of the dungeon, which is where we need to be to go and find the pebble. So we're going to head up these steps here, which were found just to the right as we made our way through the second archway. And if we just follow the steps to the top here, make our way through the, I think it's the Golden Road it's called, yes, there it is. And it's a linear path, it's quite a lengthy one, so I'll skip ahead, but eventually you'll come to this bridge, which you will need to cross. And once again, once you reach the other side of the bridge, just continue following the Golden Road, very linear, and it won't be long until you see the entrance to the instance. Once you see that, you'll know you're in the right location to continue on. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to be entering the dungeon, but not the instance portion. So, facing away from the entrance, look to the left here, and you'll see that the Golden Road actually continues up this narrow pathway. Once again, it's quite linear at this point, and you might have already been up this path because there is a world quest located just at the top where there's an NPC you can kill. So you've probably already done that if you've played Battle for Azeroth for any length of time, but if not, then this is how you get there. And you've probably not been further than this anyway, so we are going to be doing that at this point. Head up the steps on the right hand side of the world quest, and you're going to want to stick to the right hand wall edge. Now it's actually possible to fall off at this point, since it is quite a narrow pathway, so be cautious that you don't do that. And here you'll want to head through this little mini cubby area, and keep sticking to that right wall on the narrow pathway. And it does open up a little bit down here. Sometimes you'll see there's a purple treasure chest that you can access. There it is, so I'm going to go ahead and open that for the sake of it while we're here. And once we've got that, we're going to once again stick to the right hand side as we continue to hug the wall and make our way through the path here. And when you see this waterfall, you want to be careful not to fall down, because it's a nightmare to get back to this point if you do. And you want to actually just drop down on the other side over to these rocky areas, and you'll be at the side of the temple at this point. Now you'll need to dismount here, you cannot do this bit on a mount, I tried, and you want to carefully just jump up the side here. It's quite easy once you've got the hang of it, and just keep jumping until you're able to run once more. And once you're able to run, then you'll know it's safe to mount up again. And at this point we're going to head through these two bushy areas. There's one, there's two, and into another open green grassy type place. And there is actually a path here, you can't really see it, but there is a path so that you can make your way up the hill here in order to reach the top of the mountain. And this is where our next Goblin Glider is going to come into use. So make sure you've got that ready at this point, and just make your way over to the edge here, get ready to jump, and as soon as you jump, activate the glider. But I would recommend watching this whole section here with what it is I'm about to do, so that you have a good grasp of what you're doing even before you try it yourself. So you can see that just below us there's a tree, and that is what we're actually aiming for, the base of that tree, but we're aiming for the part that's closest to the mountain. So while you're on your glider, just kind of, float around as you're losing altitude here, but make sure as you start to get a little bit lower that you're not too far away from this part, and you'll want to make your way back over to the side of the mountain, because if you're a little bit too far away as your altitude drops, you will not reach this point. It's really annoying. You'll see there's a smaller bushy type tree thing here, and just located under that is the entrance to the secret cave, which is exactly what we're looking for. Yay! Once you've landed safely, the rest of this clue is dead easy. Simply enter into the cave. As with the last secret cave, there's no enemies to be concerned with, and just stick to the left here and you'll find the pebble just on the floor. You can't really miss it, and once again, once you've clicked it, you won't get any prompts or anything, but you can't click it again, so you know that it's done. Excellent, let's move on. Drustvar is my favourite battle for Azeroth zone, and it's where we're heading next. So from Aron's stand here, we're going to head up the mountain located just behind the town. And it's a little bit windy the way that the paths work, but you want to basically head up as high as you can, where we'll be able to look over the other side and hopefully find a waterfall. I'm certain when flying is introduced in Battle for Azeroth, many of these clues are going to be trivial, but for now we have to be careful how we path to them lest we fall and die. So here we go. Where's the waterfall? Oh, it's just on the other side, there it is. Okay, so we can see it just there beneath us, and we're going to drop down just to the side of it. So you shouldn't take much damage by doing that. And then we're going to drop down into the waterfall itself. Be careful not to fall any lower though, otherwise you'd have to make your way back and try this pathing again. And the hidden cave is located just in the waterfall, so head up the rocks here and that will give you access to the entrance. And right at the end you'll find this wicker man, and one of its eye sockets is in fact the next clue, so that's exactly what we're going to go and click, and you can access it just by standing fairly close to it while still on the ground. There we have it, and as before, you'll only be able to click it once. Good job so far, guys. Next up, it's Vol'dun. When you've reached Vol'dun, you'll want to fly over to Tortaka Refuge, and then from the Flight Master, you're going to want to head over to 6321 in coordinates, which is just at the back of the mountain area. And as you drop down, you'll see two trees, and the first tree is what we're interested in because located just next to this tree is another hidden cave, and you can already see my skeleton located here. That's because of this nasty enemy here, which has 4 million health and does about 450,000 points of damage with a single attack. Its sole purpose is to guard the pebble, which is actually located far enough away that you don't need to aggro the creature, and as you can see, just here on the far side of the wall, we can find it, so click that and hopefully make your way back out without too much trouble. And there we have it. The next location we're going to be heading to will be found in Storm Song Valley. Now, I personally recommend going to Tidecross as the flight point of choice here, because it's a little bit further away from the Shrine's flight point, but if you go to the latter, you will have to navigate your way through the Shrine, which can be a little bit annoying. So from Tidecross, just go on a water walking mount if you've got one, and they just basically run through the sea. Or swim through the sea if you don't have a mount until you reach the island. And once you reach the island at the coordinates you can see on screen, then you're going to want to go up to this tree, and just above this tree you'll see another tree, so that one's more for your bearings than anything else. And you can make your way up here, and this is where the hidden cave is located. So it's kind of in the shrubs, but it is there. Unfortunately there are enemies in this cave, so you'll have to fight your way through, but they're all just normal enemies. And eventually, it's a linear path, you'll reach this small body of water with 2 wheelbarrows, and the smaller of those 2 wheelbarrows contains the clue. You might just have to adjust the camera angle in order to see it, but it is there. Alright then guys, let's move on. Now this next pebble is just full on trolling by Blizzard to the players, so yeah, thanks Blizz. Okay, so you're going to want to head to Nazmir, and you're going to want to get on a water walking mount, it is required this time, and you're going to head north out of the zone into the Great Sea, and your big enemy here is going to be Fatigue. So, on top of the mount, I would highly recommend if possible getting a buff from a Warlock, which will increase your water swimming speed, but also something that is required is some kind of water speed potion, so either a water speed potion or a dark water potion. Any of those should do the trick. Now, as you start heading out, you're going to want to make sure you're going towards the coordinates 54-7. Those coordinates are the coordinates for the overall Zandalar world map, not for any of the particular zones. You can see the red dot there I've got located for you for easy viewing. So you're just going to use your mount to get all the way to that coordinate, and at that point we're going to dive down. Now the whole time, of course, your fatigue bar is going to be ticking down, and this is purposefully positioned to make sure that you can only just grab this pebble in time. As a matter of fact, I even have to use my Divine Shield to do so. So once we're in the water, you're going to activate your swim speed potion, or whatever potion buff that you're using, and start heading down towards the sunken ship, which you can see quite far down actually. And the fatigue bar is very, very unforgiving. I reckon if I'd have got a little bit more accuracy perhaps with my mount before dropping down, I've had to come down at a bit of an angle here, then I might not have had to pop Divine Shield for the last few breaststrokes, but unfortunately I did have to do so. But hey, it was just about enough. And once you get to the back of the ship here, you're going to be looking for this kind of stained glass picture thing. And one of the pebbles, or the pebble in fact, is one of these dot things that's just located on the back there. And that's it. I literally just grabbed that with, what, half a second to go. There's a nice collection of corpses down here from other players as well. Obviously you're going to die, but once you've got the pebble it doesn't matter. Let's move on. A nice easy one after that last one then, especially for those of you who, like me, play Alliance. So you're going to want to head back over to Boralus and start at Proudmoore Keep. And you're going to want to make your way to the maze area. So you can see the red dot on the map, and I've got the coordinates on the screen for you as well. But just be warned, if you are Horde, then these NPCs will be hostile to you. So you'll have to fight as you go here. Unless, of course, you can avoid battle by whatever means. It's not essential to kill anything. And here's the entrance to the maze. As we go in, we're going to stick to the left-hand side and make our way around the outside here. Well, it's the inside, but kind of like the outside of the inside. And there's a tree poking up, and this is guarding the entrance to the secret cave here, or the secret basement, whatever it is. So we're going to head down. Again, there's quite a few NPCs in here that will all be hostile to Horde. And just over here, where the barrels are located, if you just manoeuvre the camera down, you can see the pebble that we're after. And that's pretty much it. So we'll grab that, and we'll move on to the next area. Back to Drustvar now, and you'll want to head over to this small island just to the northwest. It's called the Western Watch. And once we've come ashore here, we're going to be making our way up the hills. So I think it's possible, once again, that the NPCs around this location will be hostile to Horde players. I haven't confirmed that one though, so maybe you'd just be kind enough to do that in the comment section. If you discover that for yourself, that would be appreciated. And once you reach this location here with these stones, we're going to carefully jump onto the edge of the cliff. And this is where we just need to do a little bit of careful pathing here, otherwise we're going to fall. So go onto your mount or run as needed. So there's a bit of a jump here. You can fall down this middle section if you're not careful. And once you're on the other side, we are actually going to drop down because there's a cave just on the cliff face here, which we do want to enter. Now, there's no enemies to worry about, and the pebble isn't actually in the cave, but if you just go inside and turn around, it's actually located at the entrance, but you can only really access it from the inside, if that makes sense. So we'll zoom in and look up, and you can just about see it. It's very well hidden, this one, on the rock here, but there it is for you. So we'll go ahead and click it, and we are done once more in Drustvar, and we're going to be heading back over to Tirigar Sound for the next. So this one is going to be another one that's a little bit annoying. You're going to want to start at Kenning's Lodge and just follow the path that I take up the mountain. And you're definitely going to want to have a few invisibility potions for this one. It could take a few attempts as well, which is a bit annoying because each time you use an invisibility potion, you're going to have an 8-minute cooldown before you can try again. But the reason for that is that the clatter-back enemies, these are the ones that one-shot you with 4 million health, are hidden in the area. You can't see them. So you need to actually go in, try and find the pebble, click it, all within the 15-second or 18-second timer of your potion. So once you're up the mountain here, you'll find the hidden cave just located in these trees. And you're going to want to take just a few steps inside, but don't risk going too far or you will spawn some of the hidden enemies. They'll pop out the ground if you do. And activate your potion, and you're going to want to locate the pebble, which is just over in this area here. Unfortunately, I didn't quite locate it in time through my invisibility potion, so I had to use Divine Shield. But for your own benefit, look where it is, so hopefully you can grab it before the potion runs out. Obviously, it doesn't matter too much if you die afterwards. Just make sure you have grabbed the pebble at all costs. Whatever happens after that is immaterial. And there we have it. We can move on to the next area. Still in Tirigar Sound then, our quest for the next pebble begins just east of Boralus. I'm going to start in the water here as we head over outside of Boralus Harbour and up this path. And we're going to be heading over to the coordinates at 1819, which is where we should find a waterfall. And that's just going to be the location of the hidden cave. So we'll head there first. There can be a nice purple chest, by the way, just in that cave that we just ran past. I've already collected it previously, though. And here's the waterfall I spoke of. Now we need to head up to the left hand side of this waterfall, and we're going to try and jump across. It can be a little bit awkward, the rocks here, and you might just have to do this a few times to get it absolutely right. And once you've jumped up, we're going to drop down behind the back of the waterfall that we just saw, and that's going to lead us into the hidden cave. There's no way out of this that I know of outside of using your Flight Master's Whistle or the Hearthstone, so if they're on cooldown you'll probably have to wait. And once you are in the cave, you'll see this scroll on the floor. There's a couple of pebbles, but these aren't the pebbles we want. And the pebble that we do want is conveniently located, really well actually, just under this scroll. So you can just about see it poking out from this angle. And there we have it. Job done. Nearly there now, guys. Second to last pebble. And once again, we're in Tirigard Sound. So just to the west of Boralus. The location is 1082 on the Boralus map with coordinates. You want to get to this part of the water and literally just swim straight down. And you can see there's a plant at the bottom. There's actually another player there, so we can use that as guidance. And we're going to want to just swim straight through this plant, and this will lead us into another hidden cave, an underwater cave, obviously, in this instance. And we don't need any potions or anything like that. Just make sure that you know the way so that you don't get low on breath or whatever. And just head up through the other side of the cave here. And this is where the pebble is going to be located. Now, the shrinker toy could be useful here. I don't need it. But if you do struggle trying to get the pebble because it is stuck in between the plants and the algae here, then that could help you. But it isn't absolutely required by any means. So here we are. And you can see these brown plants are actually going to be where we're going to be looking. And if we just zoom in a little bit, you can see the pebble just about poking out there. So still in full size form here. But if it does help, as I say, if you can't quite find enough of that pebble to click it, then just shrink right down, zoom in, and you'll be able to get a full view of that pebble in order to click it at your leisure. Okay, so there we have it. One more pebble to go, and we're going to be making our way over to Vol'dun. Let's go. Here we are then at last, the final pebble. It's a little bit of a nuisance, but we've done worse in what came before, so don't worry too much. So we're going to want to head over to Tarka Refuge, which is in Vol'dun, and we've been there earlier as well. And we're going to want to head away from the coast, so you will need your water walking mount once more. And just starting where I am, just begin by heading over northeast, a little bit more north than east. And eventually the screen or the location is going to change to the South Seas. That's what we need to keep an eye on, because that's when we need to sort out our coordinates. And you are going to need to input your own coordinates because it's going to be a little bit difficult watching my video to see the exact same location in your game, if that makes sense, because after all, there's literally just water all around us. And we will have to also deal with fatigue, sadly, that lovely mechanic that we've grown to love so much during this series. Anyway, as soon as it changes to the South Seas, you want to set your waypoint to 55.72 minus 10.21. So I recommend using TomTom or Simple Chords or something along those lines so that you can see the waypoint. But once you've done that on the South Seas, it will put it into the correct location and just keep following it until the fatigue stops. At this point, let the bar refill. Make sure you heal up because you probably took some fatigue damage before it did stop, and then carry on following the waypoints. So this particular pebble is all about managing your fatigue correctly. If you do that, then you won't have too many issues. And once you reach the waypoint, perhaps a little bit just before the fatigue's going to start again, so make sure you've got your underwater speed potion ready, since we're going to have to make our way to the cave, and obviously we want to get there as fast as possible, really. And you might just see the fatigue bar flashing on and off, so don't worry too much about that for now. And it looks like we've just about reached the waypoint, so we're going to head down. And without any further ado, I need to go ahead and click the swim speed potion here. It is a bit of a journey down, so I don't know if you can do it at normal swim speed. I didn't try, I didn't want to risk it, but it's possible perhaps. Maybe you can let me know in the comments section, but let's just play it safe for now. And once we reach the underwater cave, which is basically in the side of this underwater cliff here, or this underwater mountain, you'll see just a small opening, which is the entrance, so just keep an eye out for that one. I can see there's somebody inside, pretty handy actually, since it will show us where the entrance is, just there. That small entry hole is where we need to enter in through. and the actual pebble is located just on the floor, actually, by that rock, that small rock that's on the floor closest to the bigger rocks, okay? So just around here, and where is it? There it is. And just make sure you click that, of course, before your breath or fatigue gets you. That's the important thing. And once you've got it, we've actually got all the pebbles. We've done everything we need. And now the next stage, the final stage, is to head over to Frostfire Ridge. So obviously I recommend just using the Garrison Hearthstone in order to get there as fast as possible. So final step now, guys, and it is actually really easy. So at Frostfire Ridge, you want to head over to 6222. That's the coordinates to the volcano here. And you'll find Bowl, or whatever it's called, located here in the fire. Don't worry, you can step on it, you won't take damage. And this is where you're going to need Uuna. So I will have a link to that in the description if you don't have it yet, so you can get it. But you can actually use any other Uuna, so as you can see, there's plenty that have been summoned here. And this will weaken the pet so that you can battle it. Once it's not, if it's not in its weakened state, you can't beat it. Okay, so this is a required thing to do. Now, once it is weakened, the actual battle is very, very easy indeed. As you can see, it's just one pet, not even a rare pet, to fight with a little bit of health. So 3 hits with a spell that magic is weak to, and it will be down without too much trouble at all. And that will be it, guys. The battle pet will be yours, and it will be Bowl's Dark Sign. So occasionally I've heard that it's a little bit bugged trying to get him into its weakened state, but I never had any issues with that. But let us know in the comment section if you do. And there we have it, guys. Fantastic stuff. So big congratulations if you managed to go ahead and complete this entire series. But I hope you enjoyed watching this video, guys. I hope it's helped you. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.